Hey guys, this is Soxcroat Gamer, and today I'm gonna be playing Pokemon TCG Online, but it's gonna be a bit different than what I've usually done. So I'm just gonna log in which whenever it loads up, I'm gonna give a black screen, and basically we're gonna talk about 4 categories, which I will have annotations on the screen for you to just skip to them, which will be the deck layout, like what kind of strategies. That's gonna be the 4th one, I guess, but I'm gonna name them in order. So number 1, we're gonna talk about deck layout, like how many of each type of card, just overall. We're gonna talk about overall. And then after we talk about our overall just layout in general, I will then, well, it's crashing, but whatever. After we talk about our deck layout, I will go over the essentials, which is going to be number 2. Number 3, what to do and what not to do, excluding essentials. So the essentials will be one part, which is number 2. What to do and not to do is number 3. And then at the end, I will just explain my personal strategies and just what I would do. Alright. Sorry about the black hole. So yes, my username is Mario Nick. Not gonna tell me my password. If you want to trade for anything I have, once again, like I said in the last video, you are allowed to just comment on my video and just say what you want to trade, what you'll give me. I will reply to your comment yes or no. Give me your Pokemon TCG username. I'll add you. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. Alright. And then after we talk about our main stuff, number 5 will just be in-game tips. Like what to do versus not what to do and everything like that. Alright. So I'm just gonna collect my rewards for logging on. Alright. Now on to just number 1. The deck layout. So I'm just gonna show you guys some of my personal decks. So as you can see, we have like 19 Pokemon, 16 trainers, and 25 energies. That's one of my decks. Now, Water 1 has 17 Pokemon, bit of a different layout, 29 trainers, and 14 energies, which that one maybe isn't that much of a good strategy. Now we have 16 Pokemon, 34 trainers, which is a bit much, and 10 energies. I'm just going to go up here, which we have 19, 21, and 20, which this is the best one. So in your deck, unless you for some reason have to do like anything out of the ordinary from what I'm showing you, I'm just going to explain the deck layout and what how many of each just type of card that you would need. So what I would say is, in a normal deck that is about what everyone else would be playing, would be 60 cards, which is required. Now, as you can see here, that one's not too good, but let's go back here. This is really close. So as you see, this layout is 19 Pokemon, 21 trainers, and 20 energies. Now, the way I'm going to say this is, the way you should lay this out is 20, 20, 20, which is 60. So you'll have 20 energies, 20 trainers, and 19, or 20 Pokemon, yeah. However, if you don't need 20 Pokemon, and let's say you have 20 energies, then you can put more energies, or if you need another trainer, put another trainer. You might want to just keep it as close to that layout as possible. Now, what is essential? Honestly, I think the two most essential things in Pokemon are, I'm just gonna put the ones with abilities on, which is probably still a ton. So as you can see, this Golduck Break and this Aromatisse are great examples. You want to have Pokemon in your deck that can transport energies between Pokemon in your turn, as many as you want. Or if you don't want to put the Golduck Break or Aromatisse in, you want to do a different strategy, then I would recommend, if you're just going to play low energy deck, run the Golduck Break. Just have them so you can move the energies, and have Blastoise with this ability that just lets you like move energies, or not move energies, place as many energies from your hand as you want of a certain type. This Deluge ability, and you can get a pretty good deck off of that. So those, and then, I said that wrong. So next, you want to have, I think, essentials, at least one EX, if not more. Now, I never said there's a limit to, you should only use 2 EXs, or you should only use 1. Notice how I just was like, you should use at least 1. Most strategies run more than 1. So yeah. And then trainers, I'm just gonna, so if you have a Mega, if it doesn't take up too much of your deck, put 1 Spirit Link if you have 1 Mega. I think that I'll explain the essentials for other decks later. You want to have Cheren or Tyranno, just draw 3. You know, they're pretty essential, at least like 2 of them. If you're running a lower energy deck, or even a 20-20-20 deck like I explained earlier, I think energy retrievals, you should have 2 of them. If you run more than 20 energies, maybe not a good idea. I think the energy retrievals are just essential. I'm just gonna keep going. You want to have some type of heal, which I wouldn't tell you what heal. You want to have at least one Great Ball. If it's not too much, like one Great Ball. Gyarados, let's look. You want to have it. If you need at least one Healing Scarf or Hard Charm or Fighting Fury Belt, you want to have at least one like item card. That's a tool. You want to have definitely 3 or 4 Lysanders. They're the most useful card in the game because they can turn the game at any time. Run at least like 3 or 4. You're gonna wonder, I would run at least one Max Elixir. Maybe one in just so that you can turn the table whenever you need to. At least 1 or 2 Pokemon fan clubs. At least 1 or 2 Professor's Letters. Which I think Professor's Letter is the most essential card in a deck. And yeah. So that's important. Shauna might be important. I think one of them would be great. If you run a deck and test and you realize you're not getting trainers or supporters out, play Skylas. Just that one's a play by play. Team Flare Ground used to be an essential, but then they were a lot better. So yeah, don't really know if you want to run that. Like I said, 1 or 2 Ultra Balls if you have a lot of supporters. Versus Seeker is really important. And yeah, so those are your essentials. And yeah, so we're gonna do what to put in a deck and what not to put in a deck, and I'll like make example decks of this. Alright, so this is where we start doing deck manager. So I'm gonna do expanded, So first of all, we're gonna show you what not to do in a deck. The first one is probably really obvious. You'll see why in a minute. So I'm just going to do a 20-20-20 deck. And I'm just going to completely explain what's wrong with these decks. Alright. Oh no, I'm not going to do that. So, first one, this is wrong. What I have on top is wrong for a deck. So, just what you should do, make a deck that is 1 to 3 types depending on your strategy. Don't just make a random deck with like 10 million just Pokemon randomly. Don't do this. That is wrong. Now, I don't know if I really want to show all the strategy because this might be time consuming for you guys. But basically, you want to avoid too many EXs. Don't run all EXs because those are shut down pretty easily if you ask me. By a card called Suicune. If you guys don't know what that is, if you don't know what Sigilyph is, if you see someone running a full EX deck and they get like all the way to the finals and win, then they didn't go up against an EX shutdown deck. Just gonna give that to you guys right now. EX full decks are not good because of Suicune's EX shutdown cards. You have to get lucky to get to finals with just an EX deck. Second thing, we have evolutions. We know we have evolutions. However, the one thing we don't want to do is we don't want to put multiple Stage 2 Pokemon in a deck unless they work really well together and you're not too bad at executing the strategy. Like, we don't want to put Chandelure and Chestnut and like Delphox and Blaziken. For one, that's a rare 20 cards more than likely if you play that, and for two, you're gonna have weak basics, and if you don't put an EX, then it's just a weak basics, which will be hard to get out. And I just feel like it wastes your space. One per deck at most, if you even need it. And yeah, like I said, 1, 2, or 3 types, depending on how your deck will run, how it looks. At least 1 EX, but not too many to overwhelm your deck. And then energy transfer Pokemon. These Pokemon don't necessarily need to like work with your deck in terms of what energies or types are. Just what they need to do is be able to just stay on your bench, retreat quickly if they get sent in, and just energy transfer everything. And yeah. So now onto the trainers. Try to have as much deck revealing cards as possible. If you don't know what I'm saying or don't understand, don't use all of them on this, but Professor's Letter, shuffle your hand into your deck, all that stuff. Try to try to have high control over the board by playing Lysanders. Have a Spirit Link so your turn doesn't end, and put at least one item, I would say, or tool, I mean. And if your deck can have a stadium, put it in. Have a card to search for basics. And if you play high evolution Pokemon, highly recommend Wallies or Evosodas. I recommend it, and I think it would be good for a deck. So yeah, just run like that, and everything else, I mean, it really depends on your deck, other than the energies. So the energies, you always want to put your type special energy and have as many of those. Then you want to look at how many different types of energies, if your Pokemon take 2 colorless or if it's just random. So then you could put double colorless if your Pokemon take like 2 colorless to attack. Or else you just want to use your type special energy, 1 or 2 rainbow energies, and then your type energy. So if I was water, I'd do 4 of these, like 12 of those, or no, 14 of those, and 2 of these. And you should be really good off if you play it like this. Now, onto the strategies. So, I'm just going to explain some strategies here. Now, obviously, if you want to have energy transfer decks, a water or a fairy deck will work the best. So, I'm just going to put the type on fairy. So, you want to run at least 2 Aromatisse in a fairy deck. So, that means you have to run about 3 or 4 Spritzies. Not bad for a deck. And then, I recommend playing Diancie with its Mega if you can. If you want to, Gardevoir, not like really big. And for your for your Stage 2 Pokemon, I do the Florges with. It really depends on your deck. If you don't have the right cards and do this one, just search for 3 cards, or this one, and you can also do 1-in-1. And then we would put the Mega down, so your Mega Gardevoir, one of them with the Spirit Link, except Mega Downs, you had to not put Spirit Link because there's no such thing. Now, maybe Togekiss EX, if your deck supports it, then you want to have this right here, which is Geomancy. You want to have 3 of these if you run an Xerneas or a Matisse deck. And then you just want to have the Xerneas EX. So that's about 20. I mean, I thought Togekiss would be at least a decent card. Yeah, but like I said, too many stage 2s, so maybe Togekiss wouldn't be too good. And if you have any more Pokemon you can put in, I don't know how many that was, put a high damage dealer. That's a fairy type, obviously. And yeah, so that's one strategy. The next strategy, which will also be an energy strategy, just get the energies out, move them around, be really good. What this strategy does is you want to get this Articuno, 2 of them I would recommend, or 3. Have it use Find Ice for a few turns. Then you want to have the Blastoise with Deluge, and all the energies you get with the Articuno, place them on your bench and get them all stocked up. Have Blastoise EX just do some damage. And I think this deck has 2 stage 2s, and I'll explain in a minute why. I would not recommend the Greninja strategy in this deck. I don't have Greninja Break. I'm not a fan of it, so I'm not going to explain that strategy. It's a pretty toxic strategy, honestly. Then you want to have Golduck Break, like I said, just transfer the energies if you place them wrong or don't want to play them. And then I think Gyarados would be a great card. I think his EX and his Mega. 1 or 2 Keldeo EX with the Russian ability. Kyogre EX for his sleep. The primal one, maybe not as much. Then alright, then we want to have, if you want to put him, but that might be a bit too many EXs. Then the reason I wouldn't put the primal is just because, well, maybe you should. It depends on what you want to do. If you think it's too risky, don't do it. And not Seismitoad. I don't like Seismitoad, not a big fan of him. I'd say no, no, no. No idea what Starmie does. Okay, it's just a sniper. I would put this Swampert, and only this Swampert. If you do, put one of them, have him on your bench using Diving Search to get the Professor's Letters or your evolution cards to the top. Then just stack up the energies, bring him in, Hydro Pump, Knockout, which is better than Blastoise's energies stacked up. No Vaporeon, no Volcanion. And yeah, so that's your water strategy. Just get all the energies out with the Articuno, use the Blastoise to get the energies on Pokemon. That's a Golduck Breakout to just transfer your energies from Pokemon to Pokemon and have Swampert to help out along the way. That might be a bit too many Pokemon, but I would say the only trainers that you really need in a deck like this, especially because it's so high damage, if executed properly, are going to be just Professor's Letter, Dive Ball, Energy Retrieval for when something gets knocked out, Rough Seas if you want to have that stadium card like I explained. Have one Ultra Ball, one Healing Scarf. So if you get all the energies in your hand, just Healing Scarf will murder. Don't really need Lysander in this deck, I don't feel. Then you can play an in just for whatever reason. Fan Club to get all your good cards out at the start. And then just some Professor's Letters. And yeah, that should be about all for this deck. Have evolution cards. And then the rest is energies. I would recommend 20 energies in this deck. So you can tweak the layout a bit. I know it's more than 60 cards that you need to put in this deck for it to be good. Alright, next strategy. Oh, we also have another energy transferring strategy, which I don't know if you guys know about. This strategy is called the Dark type Hydreigon strategy. I think Hydreigon is a dark type. If not, he's a dragon type. Whatever. You just, if you need the Hydreigon, the correct one. Got you there, didn't I? So where's the Hydreigon? We got Druddigon, Giratina EX. You want this. Now, even though he has a Psychic Energy, we're not going to use him. We're going to keep him on our bench. And we're just going to have a strategy. So our strategy will be, if you want to, you have Darkrai on your bench for free retreat. Absol will curse size to move the damage counters around if you need to. And then in this deck we have Sharpedo EX to have high mobility of our map or our gameplay. Then we have Yveltal and his EX. This one will get the energies from your discard pile and put them on your Pokemon. You just put it on Yveltal EX, Evil Ball knockout. And then we have the Zoroark, which any of the Zoroarks except for this one right here and the corner won't work. This one is the best. Then I think it would be followed by this one. And then it would be followed by this one. So yeah, that's a dark type deck strategy for dark type users. Now for fire type decks, I'm just going to scroll at the beginning. I wouldn't use any of this. If you are wanting to, there's a Blaziken strategy where you play Blaziken. No. Play Camp-Up DX. He's one of the best fire type EXs with Charizard and Mega Charizard. So you just play Mega Charizard. Then you want to have the Delphox, which I think the order of the Delphox best to worst. This one first, this one second, this one's the worst. See, and then you play Entei with Burning Roar, which is a weird. Then you want to have Flareon EX, so you can just transfer the energies to him and have him just attack them. Mega Charizard with the Protection Cube, that's going to be a trainer that will be important in this deck. then you want to have... there's multiple fire strategies, by the way. So if you're not seeing your cards, and let's see, what was I gonna do? I know there was more of this. Well, I guess there wasn't. So now our trainers, just get your Pokemon out, evolve them, and draw cards to get energies, search for energies for Professor's Letter, have the energy retrievals, so you can get 1 energy per turn in this deck especially, and then the most important card in these kinds of decks are our Blacksmith cards, which basically gives energies from our discard pile and attach them to one of your fire type Pokemon. So yeah, so now strategy 2 is let's look. Strategy 2 this is the second strategy, and the only other strategy I seen this one played was Charizard, Mega Charizard, Pyroar, which I don't have Pyroar on this account. Basically, he's a basic shutdown. And then you play Reshiram regulars and Talonflames. Which Talonflame do we play? You play this Talonflame. And yeah, so that's your fire type decks. We've gone over our water, our dark. Now time for a fighting type deck. Now my deck is probably kind of strange compared to you guys. Basically my deck will be Riolu, Lucario that has Aura Spear, Lucario EX Mega Lucario. I didn't know I had that in Monchan. Flanders. And then I just put a bit more Pokemon support. Oh, and if you want to in Fire or this deck, put Scorched Earth, but not in this deck especially. I wouldn't do that. You have another stadium. And yeah, so it's just that. And then you have Fighting Stadium, Search for Pokemon, and Karina. And get your energies out. Then you would just put the rest, like the fighting energies. And then, oh yeah, and then you have to have Regirock EX. As many as possible on your bench. More the better. And yeah, that was the fighting type deck. And don't really know any good dragon type strategies. I know a metal strategy. The power is kind of limited on these. So you could put Aegislash EX in and have Bronzong with Metal Links, which gets you energies from your discard pile to one of your metal Pokemon. Have to do Blade, False Swipe on the strongest Pokemon in the game. Genesect EX. Yeah, Genesect EX maybe. Definitely have the Jirachi EX. One of them. And yeah, so this one's just the Aegislash Bronzong strategy, in which doesn't really require too many trainers. Like energy retrieval, find the Pokemon, put a Head Ringer, Hard Charm, Healing Scarf, and Lysanders, like I said, and Cyrano's, Great Balls, Ultra Balls. You know, this deck is very like interchangeable, and the rest is just middle energies. Alright, So I know grass, electric, and psychic strategies, and that's about all. The Mega Audino strategy, just play Mega Audino if you do that strategy. Oh, and then there was a grass fighting strategy, Ariados, Machamp. That's the strategy. That's all you need to play. Then next we have you have Celebi EX on your bench with the Chestnut breakout. Chestnut's ability, which does 20 damage to them. No Heracross, Mega Heracross. However, we are going to Venusaur, Mega Venusaur. And with the new Spirit Link, you can get that out even easier. Sceptile, Mega Sceptile if you can. Then put the old Shaman in your deck. Not the new ones, the old one. Put them in your deck. Then have 2 Trevenants. Have a Virizion. So you can't get any damage done to you from special effects or be affected by them in general. And then this deck, just a generic trainer supporter deck. Now, the electric and psychic decks, this one's just Mega Manetric and stuff. This one was a bit complicated. I already have a psychic deck I can show you guys, in fact. Quick guess. My psychic deck goes like Dusclops or Dusknoir, which moves the damage counters between the Pokemon. Mew EX use any of their attacks. Mewtwo, Mega Mewtwo, Wobbuffet, Deoxys, Gorgeous, Megalakazam. They're just a generic trainer deck with energies. That's my psychic deck. And my electric deck right now is something like this. Not too many Pokemon as you can see, then it's all of the generic stuff and energies. Alright, now we're just gonna go over some simple strategies, what to do versus what not to do. Alright. So, when it comes to abilities and using them, you want to use an ability correctly. Not if it's an energy switching ability, but I'm talking about more abilities like the Absol's Cursed Eyes and all of that. So you want to have the Pokemon you can use the abilities on, and you want to actually have calculated this ahead, and you want to actually make sure you're doing the abilities right. Like, you don't just want to walk in and say, oh, Absol's Cursed Eyes, I'm just going to move it to the Pokemon with the most health, and then the Pokemon I attack this turn won't be able to die because I did this. Or, like, you want to put the 3 damage counters on whichever bench Pokemon you think is the easiest to kill with bench stuff, or whatever you want to do. Now, I think this guy would be pretty good because no one has a weakness, but you don't go up against a deck that has weakness, except for grass. If you're running a fire deck, or no, if you're running a grass deck, play that whatever, like Anorith or whatever. And you just want to use the abilities whenever you have the right usage times. You don't just want to randomly play an ability and say, oh, here you go, and then be in deep trouble because you used the ability wrong. Now, in the same way, if they have a high attacker and you want to keep them out, what I would recommend doing is, with high attackers especially, like, don't Lysander because they have their best Pokemon in the deck out. Because what if it turns out that you can kill them in one turn and everything? So they might get a prize card, but hey, you get more because they have their high attacker out and then they have no one out. Versus you who had something out. So you wanna just not play a Lysander at first sight. You don't want to play a Lysander on just a Pokemon. Oh, it's the strongest Pokemon in their deck. I'm just gonna Lysander it out, because all you're doing is, especially if they have an attack like Evil Ball, where it's just the more energies I have, the more damage I do to you. The more energies you have, the more I do to you. And those two are combined. You're not just gonna want to Lysander the Yveltal EX out and get something new in, because that's stupid. Like, just don't like randomly put their strongest Pokemon out and everything. And yeah, and you don't wanna oh yeah, and I forgot, fighting decks take Focus Sash, and don't fully heal something that has enough damage to withstand one attack from them. That would just not be good. Yeah, like a 10 health Pokemon, don't like use your max potion. That is a noob thing. Don't do it. Now another just general overall tip is switch your Pokemon often. Like, if a Pokemon gets low, don't keep it in. If they have a Lysander, they'll use it, and you'll be like, thanks. Because when something gets low, bring it back to your bench, have another high attacker come in. If they have Lysander, oh well, they just wasted their Lysander. Tell them good job for wasting the Lysander. That's, yeah. I like to call that a bait strategy, where you bait them to use the Lysander and all that. So yeah, and use Pokemon that go good together, like the most obvious one that you probably won't want to use is Magmortar Electrive. But yeah, so that's gonna end this video. This video is 42 minutes long, and I'm just gonna leave annotations on the screen for every part. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you next video. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.